Hi, everyone. My name is Andy Chang, and I'm the Vice President of Finance from Beta Versailles Eta Omicron Chapter. I'm also the founder of Gordon Ford College of Business DEI Student Committee at WKU. This is my co-host for this project. In this video, we are going to share our Beta Versailles Inclusive Leadership Award presentation, or what we call it, our college DEI Leadership Project. When I first heard of this DEI award, I was very thrilled, because I think this is the best way to start changes on campus. A little background myself, I grew up in an immigrant household. However, that does not mean that I make myself small, ashamed, or anything like that, because this is how America was first built, by immigrants. There are so many ethnic groups, people with different identities and perspective in the US. As you can see, our society is very diverse. But the real question is, are we inclusive and equitable enough on different aspects? We have gotten a lot better with policies, but we are still missing, lacking, and even behind in a lot of places to make everyone feel welcome and belong. I think this is the reason why I wanted to make the changes. I want to start this project for once and forever. To do so, I think we need to start the active conversation, the educations on campus with our students. Eta Omicron Chapters chose to actualize our project by hosting a few events on campus through partnership with different societies and organizations inside and outside of campus. Our main project focus is to foster future professions, our students to engage proactively and innovatively in our society, in our business world, starting from campus. We firmly believe that through equitable and inclusive approach, we'll be able to learn and grow together to make better changes. As I mentioned earlier before, and I am the founder of DEI committee, starting the DEI student committee is part of our project, and it's the first step of our project because we want to understand our business students. The student committee will start working alongside with our new faculty at DEI committees to organize a few DEI efforts inside the college. Our goal is to pull all the leaders from different college majors to think differently, to have different skills to improve our inclusion objective inside the college. Ever since the first started off this DEI student committee, we are trying to meet differently, regularly inside our different timings to discuss how we can present controversial concepts to our students in forms of events. The results are all the events that we're going to talk about today. Our objective is very straightforward. We just want to increase our students, increase our awareness and understanding of DEI in all aspects of life. In this video, we're going to talk about a few events, and Claire's going to lead us through this.
At the beginning of the semester, our members of BAP have already attended a few different presentations. They attended the Why It Should Matter to You presented by National BAP and the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion presented by Mr. Dan Rice with Blue. Then we began to kick off our DEI week. Here in Gordon Ford, we started it with coffee and donuts to draw attention to our inspiration board as seen behind me. Students and faculty wrote their thoughts about DEI. I found it very inspiring to read all of the things that everyone had to say. Most of the faculty wrote about what they thought was more important in each of the classrooms, while many of the students wrote what they wanted to see all over campus, whether that's within GCFB or just throughout Western overall. Then Anna Thompson, who is our VP of Public Relations, kicked off DEI Week by overtaking the Beta Alpha Psi and Gordon Ford College of Business Instagram, spreading the awareness of what we were doing and the purpose of why we were doing it. At the end of the kickoff, we successfully spread the awareness of our business students and faculty. We hope to use the comments from students to improve our future efforts. Our first event, we partnered with our organization on campus and off campus. The organization that we partnered with is Women in Business and the College and External Society for Human Resource Management to host the Breaking Barriers of Women of Color's presentation. Women in Business is an organization that encourages professional development by promoting leadership, fostering relationships, and inspiring young women to reach their full potential. while the Society of Human Resource Management was a professional group for promoting professional and education and networking in human resource management. For this event, Women of Business hosted a panel of 2 women of color who spoke about how they fought sexual and racial discrimination in their career fields. We also had a section for question and answers, and everything that they had to say inspired many of the students, no matter their race, sexuality, and identity, to voice their opinions and to know that many of the obstacles that they will have to embrace, they're just going to overcome them because of all of the motivation and determination. The next day, we followed our DEI week by connecting with our alumni from the WKU Alumni Association. We invited a member of the City of Bowling Green's International Committee's liaison, Leda Becker, as one of our speakers for the event. We were fortunate enough to have Leda come and speak about her journey with the DEI efforts. She spoke about how much growth can be done in what may seem as a small amount of time. Her emphasis was on tackling racial biases and advocating for our own self-worth and intelligence. From finding homes and refugees from different countries to help immigrants get accustomed to American culture. Leda gave a powerful presentation to our students and faculty on the impact of DEI. Leda was a fighter nonetheless. She worked her way up and up and up. So many people did not think that was possible. After the presentation, many were astonished by her brave application for not only being a woman, but also a woman of color and an immigrant as well. With our DEI efforts, we also wanted to reach out to the LGBTQ+ community intentionally. With the efforts of the Alumni Association and our DEI committee member, Layla Dalton, we arranged a panel of members for our WKU faculty and alumni to share their experiences of what it's like for them to face discrimination in professional situations. Throughout the event, we were able to get most honest feelings and opinions from our panelists for helping our students learn about the importance of DEI in the workplace. There was also time for questions and answers at the end for all students to ask questions that are less talked about or known. We heard many good responses from students about how informational this was for those in the LGBTQ+ community and for those that aren't. After that, we decided to target more of the Gordon Ford College of Business. So inside our business college, we also have a living and learning community, or an LLC, which is designed for the first year students to receive enhanced learning resources and support toward a successful academic and eventual business career. Part of our DEI plan was to support our first year students and to bring DEI awareness to them through their college life. For that reason, we hosted a pizza party for our freshmen in their residence halls. We wanted to create a very relaxed environment for the residents to feel more comfortable and engaging in our conversations. We started out by having an anonymous survey of about 30 yes or no questions for each student to answer on a sheet of paper. Then Andy gathered up all of the pieces of paper and redistributed them anonymously. This approach allows for everyone to be aware of each person and their different story. He then reread all of the questions, and for those that had a yes for that responding question, they raised their hand. These questions address multiple topics such as race, first-generation students, and situations for other struggles. We wanted each student to visually see how much diversity there is within the students' lives and experiences, and how much impact we could make on others if we acknowledge and embrace the differences. To end DEI Week, we partnered with Women in Business to host a movie night showing Hidden Figures. The movie portrays how women of color face challenges in a society that still lives in the past. The movie displays how being a woman and a woman of color comes with downfalls, but that doesn't mean that they cannot overcome these challenges. We wanted the students to see how each group will experience obstacles that we will never understand, but it will only fuel them to conquer their own success while also dissolving the long-standing barriers. Then, a few weeks after, we finally got to partner with LifeWorks to do a game night. As part of our outreach to the community, our chapter members hosted a game night with LifeWorks, an organization that served to help the community and people with disabilities to engage in work and life. We began the event by eating tacos and having some small conversations with our LifeWorks residents. After that, we separated into groups to play different games. It was amazing to see how each student actively participated in this event and partnered with the residents to share meaningful experiences. The purpose of those partnerships was to reach was to get to reach each party more acquainted and more comfortable with each other. But we covered multiple sections within diversity, we did not want to alienate those with disabilities. Our mission was to reach out to everyone. We really think that it would serve a good start to our DEI efforts by seeing what we don't usually see. Only after realizing and understanding the differences, we can actually achieve the inclusion element. Now, back to you, Randy.
One of our speakers once said, DEI is all about being intentional, proactive, and deliberate, or else we will just be intentionally exclusive. For the most part, I think we followed through our initial plan by being intentional was the success. To assess how we turn out the events, our students, DEI committee and BEAP also helped in collecting some data through surveys. Some of the questions are, do we understand how we can use the term DEI in work, on campus, in our personal life, and in our community? In total, we have around 250 students, faculties, and staff participate in all our events. We believe that the numbers of members that we impacted were, endlessly because of the social media posts and newspapers, our Western newspaper, Herald. Some of the questions that we are going to kind of share the response are the following. In this first slide, we have some survey result on demographics. We think that our DI events was a success because we can see that a lot of students are learning more before and learning even more after. So I think that we did a really good job. With the responses that we got, we're gonna come back to the student DEI committee and the faculties to talk about what we can do next. As a founder of the DEI student committee, I'm very proud of our efforts this semesters, and as a part of the BAP members and the leader role, I think that we did a really good job. But we still have a lot of things to work on. Our next step is to work on how we can be more inclusive with our students. We understand that school is like a mini society. If school can achieve better success in understanding DEI, we think that our student will bring us what they learn into their work in the future. I myself have the experience and testified how DEI can really bring changes to our student in the future employments. This past semesters, I had the privilege to work for EY National Office as an assurance intern. On top of learning so much more about auditing, I also experienced how DEI can actually drive our members in the team to better ourselves and to better our business. For the few months that I have worked there, I have worked with so many diverse group of people from different countries via our technology. While this might not be noticeable to a lot of us, even though we were from all around the countries and different parts, we each brought something different to the table. We feel different, but we also still have the right things on the tables. At the end of the day, we talk about it and we share, and this is how we can get things done, work better. We ended up learning so much more from each other and completing the audit faster, efficient, and effectively. This is all because we have DEI in the workplace. We hope that after all these events that we held this semester, our students can be equipped with the knowledge and the mindset to start their active DEI achievement in their later lifetime. So now I'm going to pass it on to our faculty advisors, Heather Glass, to talk about a few things.
Hi, my name is Heather Glass. I'm the Pedagogical Assistant Professor of Accounting here at WKU, and this is my first year as faculty advisor for Beta Alpha Psi. I first just want to start out by saying I am so proud of this chapter and their efforts they put forth. They really headed up the entire DEI week here at the Gordon Ford College of Business. We had great participation. The majority of our members did at least 2 events, whether it was attending them, help setting them up, tabling, spreading the word. They did amazing. So one thing I just wanted to address was something that didn't go right. So part of our proposal, we were actually going to partner with BG Refuge here in town. So that's an organization that helps our international community who comes here. Bowling Green is a really big refugee city. Well, as most of you know, December 11th, 3 separate tornadoes hit in the city of Bowling Green and Warren County. One of the hardest hit areas is where a lot of our international community came and migrated and where they settled. So part of that BG Refuge efforts, they changed a little bit. So our first initial plan was to do some budget classes and finance classes with them. But since the tornado, what happened, we had to put that on pause because BG Refuge's mission has also changed. They have been doing recovery efforts, helping place them in new homes. They have partnered with so many local churches to make sure just financial needs for these family, food, clothing, whatever. So part of that, we just had to put that on pause. Even though there may have been some opportunities for us to help, BG Refuge had an overwhelming response from the community that me and one of the people at BG Refuge, we just decided to put that on pause. But good news is we got to partner with LifeWorks, and that was a great event we had. It really opened up our members' eyes about inclusion. So I just love how that went. So we will this fall definitely pair with them again, but I just wanted to address that. And then also just because of our efforts and everything that went so well, it has recently been told to us. So I have been working with our assistant dean, Dr. Thrasher, and our dean, Christopher Shook. We actually get to, in the fall, we get to have a room here in the business college for Beta Alpha Psi, but it's also going to be a safe space. And it's going to be all about inclusion and diversity and equity. So yes, it is going to be a Beta Alpha Psi room. However, everyone's welcome. And so we are so excited that we get to have that in the fall. That gets to be my summer project. So we are going to continue our efforts, and I have never been so proud of this chapter. We appreciate the opportunity to send you this video, and we thank you so much.
Thank you so much for giving us this opportunity to share our stories. Here we go.
Embrace the difference, make a difference.